No, you got to go back now and say, why was the NFL continuing to support? With all the confusion going on in the media. And maybe it's all of that found money right there.
1 minute people were arguing about music charts and tour outfits. The next minute the Epstein file buzz started trending again. And somehow, Beyoncé's name was floating through the storm, like it had been dropped there on purpose. No confirmed accusation. No official document pointing fingers. Just social media doing what social media does best. Connecting dots that may or may not even belong on the same page, and then 50 Cent reacts. Now, if you know 50, you already know subtlety is not in his vocabulary. He doesn't whisper into controversy. He walks straight into it with a caption that feels half joke, half warning, and fully viral. Screenshots started flying across platforms like limited edition sneakers. Comment sections turned into debate arenas. Within minutes, people weren't asking what was confirmed. They were asking what was possible. This makes reality TV look like a quiet book club. Because here's the real twist. Trending doesn't equal involvement. But once your name sits next to a controversial topic long enough, perception starts playing tricks. The algorithm doesn't wait for clarification. It amplifies first, explains never. So now the internet is split. Some say 50 is just stirring the pot for engagement. Others think reacting to serious buzz isn't a joke. And Beyoncé? Silent while the timeline debates at full volume. One reaction. One trending topic. One viral spiral. Let's break down how attention turned into accusation. Adjacent. Chaos in record time. When the Epstein file buzz resurfaced, it didn't re-enter the internet quietly. It stormed back into timelines like a sequel nobody asked for, but everybody clicked on anyway. Every time court documents, files, or alleged lists trend, social media turns into a digital detective agency. Threads get longer. Old photos resurface. Names start circulating without context. And once the algorithm smells controversy, it pushes it to the front of the line. Somehow, in the middle of that swirling speculation, Beyoncé's name began trending. Not because of a confirmed allegation. Not because of an official report. But because social media users started drawing connections the way they always do. Loosely, rapidly, and loudly. Being one of the most famous people on the planet comes with a strange side effect. Your name gets attached to everything. The speed was almost impressive. Screenshots appeared within minutes. Tweets with question marks multiplied like they were on commission. People began searching for past appearances, event photos, random associations. Not evidence, just proximity. And proximity online can feel louder than proof. The algorithm doesn't distinguish between curiosity and confirmation. It just amplifies. Then 50 Cent stepped into the conversation. Now 50 doesn't enter trending topics by accident. He knows timing. He knows engagement. And he knows exactly how to phrase something, so it walks the tightrope between serious and sarcastic. His reaction wasn't a courtroom statement. It wasn't investigative journalism. It was commentary, sharp, slightly provocative, and undeniably viral. Once his post hit, the situation escalated instantly. Because when someone with his platform reacts, it validates the conversation as something worth paying attention to. Even if the reaction is playful or exaggerated, the audience reads it as significant. Screenshots spread faster than the original posts. Reaction pages reposted within seconds. The cycle fed itself. Supporters of Beyoncé immediately pushed back. They emphasized that trending alongside a topic doesn't mean involvement in it. They pointed out the obvious flaw in viral logic. Fame equals visibility, not guilt. The louder the speculation grew, the more firmly her fans shut it down. For them, the conversation felt reckless and unfair. Critics, however, leaned into the debate. Not with documented evidence, but with curiosity framed as suspicion. They didn't claim anything directly. They simply asked questions. And online, a question can be just as powerful as an accusation. Question marks create room for imagination. And imagination travels fast when mixed with controversy. The real tension wasn't about verified facts. It was about perception. Once a name trends in the same breath as a major scandal, even digitally, it creates noise. And noise sticks. People don't always remember the origin of the trend. They remember the association. That's the risk of viral culture. INFLU, ENCERS quickly jumped into the mix. Some attempted to debunk speculation and explain how easily names get dragged into trending conversations. Others took a more dramatic tone, discussing the broader implications of celebrity proximity in elite circles. A few leaned into sensational framing because sensationalism drives clicks. Each approach added layers to the conversation. Meanwhile, Beyoncé remained publicly silent. No immediate response, no dramatic statement. And silence in the digital age becomes its own headline. Supporters interpreted it as composure. Critics interpreted it as strategic quiet. The internet rarely interprets silence as neutral. It fills the gaps with whatever fits the narrative best. 50 Cent's involvement continued to fuel the conversation. Some argued he was simply reacting to what was already trending. Others suggested amplifying speculation, even indirectly, carries weight when millions are watching. But one thing was undeniable: his participation ensured the debate wouldn't fade quietly. Memes followed, of course. Dramatic captions, over-the-top edits, exaggerated reactions layered on top of serious subject matter. That strange mix of humor and controversy made the situation feel surreal. It wasn't investigative journalism. It wasn't official reporting. It was viral culture at full speed. What this moment revealed is how fragile digital narratives really are. A name trends, a reaction follows. The association grows louder than the original source. By the time anyone attempts to clarify, the conversation has already splintered into dozens of interpretations, some grounded, some wildly speculative. As hours passed, the focus shifted slightly from the files themselves to the reaction cycle. People debated whether celebrities should engage with trending controversies at all. Does reacting fuel misinformation? Or is silence equally dangerous? The question became larger than the original topic. By the end of this first wave, one truth stood clear. There were no confirmed accusations tying Beyoncé to wrongdoing in this context. What existed was trending momentum, viral reaction, and a reminder of how quickly social media can blur the line between curiosity and implication. Because in today's world, you don't have to be involved in something to be discussed alongside it. If the first wave was shock, the second wave was amplification. Because once 50 Cent's reaction started circulating, the conversation didn't just continue, it multiplied. Reaction pages clipped his post. Commentary channels layered dramatic music over screenshots. Twitter threads stretched longer than award show speeches. The original buzz about the files almost became secondary. Now it was about who reacted and how. Influencers quickly divided into categories. Some took the responsible angle, emphasizing that trending does not equal involvement. Others leaned into the spectacle, dissecting tone and phrasing like it was coded language. A few treated it like pure entertainment, framing it as another chapter in 50 Cent's long-running career of poking at headlines. Each angle attracted its own audience, and each audience fueled the algorithm. Memes arrived next. And once memes show up, a topic has entered its second life. Screenshots were exaggerated, captions were sharpened. Sarcastic commentary turned serious subject matter into viral content. The internet has a strange talent for mixing humor with controversy, and this situation was no exception. It felt chaotic, dramatic, and oddly theatrical all at once. Meanwhile, debates about digital responsibility started brewing. Should public figures amplify trending topics when they involve sensitive subject matter? Is commentary harmless if it doesn't make direct claims? Or does adding visibility to speculation give it unintended weight? These questions weren't rhetorical. They became full-blown discussion threads across platforms. Supporters of Beyoncé continued pushing back hard. They emphasized how often celebrity names get dragged into unrelated conversations simply because of fame and visibility. They argued that proximity in elite circles doesn't equal participation. Being photographed at events or attending public gatherings doesn't create guilt. But logic doesn't always outrun momentum. Critics maintain that curiosity is natural. They frame their position as simply wanting transparency, not making accusations. The language shifted from direct claims to hypothetical scenarios. Words like what if and just asking became shields. And those shields allowed the debate to continue without anyone technically stating wrongdoing. 50 Cent, of course, remained at the center of attention. Some viewers praised him for saying what others wouldn't. Others accused him of stirring unnecessary turbulence for engagement. But no one ignored him. That's the power of a well-timed reaction. It doesn't have to be definitive. It just has to be provocative enough to trend. What's fascinating is how quickly the narrative became detached from facts and attached to personality. The files themselves weren't new. The documents weren't suddenly different. What changed was attention. Once a high-profile name and an even higher-profile reaction collided, the spotlight intensified. Attention became the main event. Commentary channels began zooming out, discussing the broader phenomenon of celebrity association. Culture. In a world where networking events, charity galas, and elite gatherings are common, it's easy for unrelated names to appear in the same space. Social media often interprets shared space as shared secrets. But shared space isn't shared culpability. Still, the speed of viral culture makes nuance difficult. By the time someone explains the difference between speculation and fact, thousands have already formed opinions. And those opinions don't disappear easily. They linger in replies, in reposts, in screenshots archived for later. The situation also revealed how silence and speech are both risky strategies. Beyoncé's quiet stance kept her from directly fueling the narrative, but it also allowed speculation to circulate without interruption. 50 Cent's reaction amplified the conversation, but didn't confirm anything. Both approaches have consequences in a culture that feeds on reaction. As the days passed, the conversation evolved again. It wasn't just about Beyoncé or 50 Cent anymore. It became about the mechanics of virality. How quickly a name can be paired with controversy. How easily a reaction can extend a trending cycle. How attention can overshadow accuracy. The most dramatic twist is that nothing concrete had changed. No verified accusations. No official announcements. Just a viral ripple that grew into a wave because of timing and amplification. The files existed before the trend. The speculation existed before the reaction. But once the right names entered the equation, engagement exploded. And that's the real escalation. Not new evidence, not new revelations. Just the algorithm doing what it does best, rewarding engagement over caution. By the time the noise began to thin out, the situation had become less about content and more about culture. Because in the digital era, perception is currency, attention is oxygen. And once a headline gains enough momentum, it doesn't need proof to keep moving. It just needs clicks. As the noise began to slow down, the real impact became clearer. Not in dramatic headlines, not in official statements, but in perception. Because once a name trends next to controversy, even without confirmed wrongdoing, it leaves a digital fingerprint. It might fade from the front page, but it lingers in search results, in archived posts, in the collective memory of the timeline. For Beyoncé, the moment reinforced something that comes with extreme fame: constant proximity to speculation. When you operate at the highest level of celebrity, your name becomes part of conversations you didn't start. The spotlight doesn't dim, it just shifts direction. And sometimes it lands on topics that have nothing to do with you, except visibility. For 50 Cent, the reaction served as another reminder of his influence in online culture. He understands timing better than most. He knows how to enter a trending conversation and make it louder without necessarily saying anything definitive. Some call it strategic, others call it reckless. But either way, it proves one thing. His commentary carries weight. The aftermath also revealed how quickly digital narratives evolve. At first it was about the files. Then it became about Beyoncé. Trending. Then it shifted to 50 Cent's reaction. And finally, it transformed into a broader discussion about celebrity association and viral amplification. The story morphed multiple times in just a few days. What stands out most is how little confirmed information was required to sustain such a large debate. No verified allegations. No official reports connecting Beyoncé to wrongdoing in this context. Just momentum, just visibility, just the algorithm connecting names and letting audiences fill in blanks. That's the anatomy of a viral spiral. Supporters of Beyoncé remained firm, emphasizing the lack of evidence and the dangers of digital implication. Critics, even without hard proof, maintained that public figures should expect scrutiny when major controversies trend. The debate wasn't about facts anymore. It was about philosophy. About how online culture treats celebrity names. Silence played a role too. Beyoncé's choice not to publicly address trending speculation can be interpreted in different ways. Some see it as confidence, refusing to dignify rumors with a response. Others view silence as strategic distance. In viral culture, even not. Speaking becomes part of the narrative. The broader takeaway is about digital responsibility. When influential figures react to sensitive topics, even playfully, it can amplify conversations that might otherwise fade quickly. Engagement isn't neutral, it has weight. And in an environment where screenshots last forever, every reaction becomes part of the record, yet the reality remains grounded. No official claims emerged tying Beyoncé to criminal activity in this scenario. No legal updates shifted the landscape. The story that trended wasn't built on revelation. It was built on reaction. And reaction is the lifeblood of online ecosystems. As the algorithm eventually turned its attention elsewhere, the conversation began dissolving into background noise. New headlines replaced old ones. Fresh controversies pushed previous debates. Down the feed, that's the cycle. Rapid rise, intense debate, gradual fade. But the digital imprint remains searchable. For 50 Cent, the moment reinforces his brand. Unpredictable, outspoken, always ready to comment. For Beyoncé, it reinforces the reality that extreme visibility comes with extreme speculation. For the audience, it's another reminder of how quickly narratives form without verified anchors. The most striking element is how attention became the main character. Not evidence, not documentation, just attention. Once enough eyes focus on a pairing of names, the conversation becomes self-sustaining. It feeds itself until something new steals the spotlight. And that's where this chapter lands. Not in a courtroom, not in an official statement, but in the space between trending and truth. A reminder that in today's culture, association can trend faster than accuracy. And once momentum builds, separating curiosity from implication becomes difficult. The files may have sparked conversation. 50's reaction may have amplified it. But the lasting lesson isn't about crime, it's about culture. About how quickly fame intersects with controversy. About how easily attention transforms speculation into a spectacle. Was this just another example of the internet taking a trending topic and running with it at full speed? Or do you think celebrities need to be more cautious when reacting to serious conversations that are already loaded with controversy? Did 50 Cent simply do what he always does, stir the timeline for entertainment? Or did his reaction amplify something that should have stayed measured? Drop your honest take in the comments, not the safe answer, the real one. Do you believe viral culture moves too fast for facts to keep up? Or is this just the price of being a global superstar in the age of screenshots and hashtags? We want to see the debate unfold right here. If this breakdown had you locked in from the first sentence to the last, smash that like button like it owes you interest. Subscribe like you're securing early access to the next headline hurricane. And turn on notifications because the timeline does not send warning signals before it explodes. And when it does, we're already breaking it down. Here at Fame Blueprint, we don't just repeat trending stories. We analyze the psychology, the perception shifts, and the power plays behind every viral ripple. Because in this culture, attention is currency and headlines move at lightning speed. Remember, in today's world, you don't have to be guilty to go viral. You just have to be famous when the algorithm spins the wheel. This is Fame Blueprint, where controversy meets clarity.